Today I'm going to be demonstrating and talking about 8 different pole finishes. I want to make it clear that none of these companies are paying me to make this video. They don't even know that I'm making this video. I am not in any way affiliated with them. I just want to give you guys the information that I have for my skin type. Now I have cool, dry hands for the most part. I'll be demonstrating how my cool, dry hands and skin feel on all 8 finishes. And I'm also going to show you how sweaty skin might feel on all 8 finishes. If you're one of the lucky few that have nice tacky skin and you don't tend to sweat too much, or maybe you don't get cold real easily, you can probably use any pole finish and it's going to work fine. So you are lucky. Move on and watch some other video. Let's take a look at our 8 poles. The first 3 finishes are actually all powder coated, but they're from different companies and they were done in different ways, so I'm going to show you all 3. The first one is a pole by Little Minx. They are way back old school, so check them out if you're interested. They don't have this color anymore because this pole was a custom pole they made for Studio Vina. I used to sell these, but this was their custom color and it's a bit different than the powder coating they use now, or they have on their other poles. It's a bit glossier. It was a special 2-part finish, which made it grippy and yet soft on the skin. I never had calluses when I used this pole. I don't know what it is about it, but it's grippy. Now I do need to have my hands slightly warm. If they're super cold, it is still slippery. But once they warm up just a little bit and my skin on my body stuck quite well, this pole was great. The next pole I'm going to show you is by X Pole. Now this is their black powder coated pole. It's slippery. It takes some warming up to really get it so that I can grip. Even now you can see it's slippery and I'm squeezing. I'm not. So it's a different finish. You can see it's not quite as shiny. It's not quite the same depth of shine, so I don't think they have that extra layer on top that might add to the grip. The last powder coated I'm showing you is a pole that is an X pole, but I had it powder coated myself. I took this pole to a company that does powder coating for motorcycles, picked out the color and the finish. So it is a nice high gloss finish and it is the best grip out of all of the powder coated poles. It's really grippy, guys. Now, remember, I don't have sweaty hands. I have dry, cold hands. It's super grippy on my arms. It's really a wonderful grip. So if you want powder coated, maybe give a shop a try. Go to a shop, tell them what you're looking for. Make sure that you don't have them do inside because you want the joints to fit in. So you're gonna need to specify, don't spray inside, don't spray the joints, things like that. But this pole is awesome. This is my stainless steel Platinum Stages pole. This pole is actually better feeling than chrome to me. It's still quite slick when I'm cold, and when the pole is cold, as you can see, it slips, but it doesn't feel greasy. It just feels like it needs to warm up. So if I warm my hand, it sticks just fine. So once my body warms, this pole actually has quite a nice grip as well. So we have chrome here. This is a chrome X pole. This, when it is cold, is very slippery for me. It feels almost greasy is the best way to describe it. It feels like I can grip it, but yet I can't. It's a weird kind of uncomfortable feeling, but it is a good option for those who are newer to pole dance because it lets you, if you can get it warmed up, it lets you settle into the position that you're learning, where if you're using something like really grippy, you need to be on point and know exactly where your legs or arms are going. It doesn't let you settle into the position like Chrome. So Chrome is actually a good beginner one, but you may have frustration if you have cold, dry hands. Titanium gold. So this is an X pole. It's an older style, as you can tell by the screw twist on, and it is still grippy. It doesn't quite have the tacky feeling of the powder coated, but it does have a nice grip. It feels secure once my hands have warmed a little bit. They don't have to be super warm, but just a little bit. Again, if they're kind of chilly, it can be a little slippy, a little bit, but once they warm up, like if you go, there, it's a nice grip. This is an X-Pole brass. I enjoy this finish a lot. It's smooth enough that you can slide into a position, but it's grippy enough that my dry skin actually works with it. So it's a little slippery for me right now because my hands are cold and the pole is cold. But once I do a warm up and warm my body, in general, it's pretty good. It doesn't have that greasy, slippy feeling that the Chrome has. It's a lot more sticky. When it's hot out though, it can get really grippy. In fact, I had an incident the other day with my foot where I took off some skin because it was so grippy. The grippiest pole of all, the silicone wrap. This thing you will stick like glue. You can't do static spins on it because it is so grippy. There's no adjusting your body. Let's talk about sweaty hands. Now, of course, you're like, how are you gonna do that? You don't have sweaty hands, crazy. That's true, but I have a spray bottle. Now, the spray bottle is not going to give us the greasy factor that sweat will give us, but it's going to give us the moisture. So let's start with the Little Minx again, the special powder coated Little Minx. Remember, they don't sell this one anymore. This was just made for us back in the day. All right, spray my hand. Ready? Mist. Woo! It's very slick. It's not porous at all, so the moisture just sits on top of it, but I just didn't sweat very much, so that's why this one ended up being one of my favorite poles. Now watch as my hand tends to dry off and it just becomes tacky. I stick like glue. So we'll do the X-Pole powder coated, spritz. Same thing. You know, it's the same idea with all the powder coated. They're not porous, so it sits on top and it's slippery. But as your hand dries out, oh yeah, nice and grippy. Chrome, spritz. Chrome actually is better than the powder coated when my hands are moist, but it comes to a point where I can grip it and then all of a sudden I slip. So it's a little bit scary because at first you're like, I got this, and then you start to slip. So I can see why people who have sweaty hands might feel really uncomfortable on Chrome. Now, my hand is just tacky now. The grip feels great. Again, tacky skin is key. Be tacky. This is the titanium gold. Spritz. Woo! The titanium gold is worse than the Chrome. I remember this. I had this pole when I lived in California, near the ocean, and the days when it would be really humid, it would get this weird kind of slippery yet grippy feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you slip, but you can grip at the same time. It's an odd feeling. But again, as my hand starts to dry off and just becomes moist, like slightly tacky, the grip is amazing. So once my hand starts to get tacky, the feeling of gripping on here still allows me to slip and kind of slide into place. You know, it's a little bit more forgiving as far as maybe being newer to pole where you can slip and slide into place. I can still slide, where with powder coated finish, once my skin is moist, it is sticky. You'll feel more of a pole burn feeling on powder coated pole when you have the tackiness. With your chrome and your titanium, you won't get that burning feeling on your skin. You'll have the grip and slip sort of feeling. Now onto my brass. Spritz. Ah! Okay, so my hand is wet. Pretty wet, but I can still actually hold on, which is interesting. Now as my hand dries off and it becomes tacky, not super wet, but tacky, the grip is phenomenal. It's not going to give you quite the burning feeling of powder coated if you slip, if you're trying to slide on it, but it will be more of a pinchiness than say your chrome or your titanium gold. The chrome is the least pinchy material, if that makes any sense. If you're a pole dancer, you know what I mean. So the chrome gives the less pinch. It's a little bit more soft feeling in general. This is a little bit more like the powder coated where it's just you're gripping. All right, we're back downstairs with my stainless steel pole. We'll spritz. It's not too bad. It's still pretty slick, but it's not quite the same as, say, powder coated. As my hand starts to dry and become just tacky, the grip is actually really excellent. Very comparable to the brass, actually. With a little bit less of the tackiness. So this Platinum Stages stainless steel is actually quite a nice grip once you have tackiness as well. Last one. Super grip. There you have it, guys. If you have sweaty hands and you just can't find anything that works for you, maybe try getting one of the silicone poles or the wraps that go around your pole. I personally went with the wrap because it can be put on any pole. You don't have to take it off and put it on. You can leave it on, or you can take it off and put it on. But as far as dancing goes, I still think that brass is going to be my favorite finish of all. I want to remind you guys that aside from pole finish, there are 3 other key things for grip. You need to remember that you have to fully warm up your pole and your hands if you have cold, dry hands. So don't forget a warm up. Remember, I have one on Studio Vina that's going to warm your pole and your hands. Number 2, don't forget to strengthen your grip. A lot of times we might feel like we're struggling just because we need more strength. The more strength you have, the more you're going to be able to grip any finish. Number 3, try a grip aid. If you have dry hands, you're going to want to try a different grip aid than if you have sweaty hands. And don't forget to check out the link to the video for making your own grip aid as well. Okay, everybody stay safe and healthy and happy poling.